The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
I say it's time we focus on what really matters. The games. Who's with me?
Good morning and welcome to episode 39 of the PlayStation Experience podcast, the Taylor Swift's to PSVG Prime's Brandon Urie, and PSVG's premier PlayStation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Seth, and am joined by Justin. How's it going, Justin?
It's going pretty good. I don't exactly get the reference. Well, I know who Taylor Swift is. Not really sure who Brandon Urie is.
You need to get with the program. Taylor Swift and Brandon Urie just dropped the hottest music video in the history of YouTube.
All right.
By hottest meaning the most watched, not like the most.
Oh, okay. Is this a real thing? Like it really is the most
potential.
watched?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
The most watched in one day. So in the first
Okay.
24 hours, like 65 million people watched it.
Do you think if me and you made a music video that we could possibly beat that stat?
I think 65 people might watch it.
All right. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We could probably do that. Anyway, I was just watching it, and I have an appreciation of Taylor Swift and Taylor Swift's music.
I would agree with that.
And this one, it's called Me with an exclamation point, and she seems a lot happier than she did on her last album.
Okay, that's
So,
good.
yeah.
I kind of miss the old Taylor Swift though. The country, the early on.
Yeah, yeah. That Taylor Swift is gone.
Okay.
She killed it. In the last, had you listened to her last album?
That was what that was all about. Okay.
Yeah. There's something about the old Taylor Swift is dead. I don't know. Anyway, we are the number one Taylor Swift podcast on the internet.
That's probably not even close to true.
Do you think there are any Taylor Swift podcasts?
Absolutely, 100%.
Just cover everything about Taylor Swift?
Yeah, I can't imagine there's not one.
I think that should be the next PSVG takeover. They should quit. Donnie should quit doing Google Stadia cast.
Swiftcast.
Okay.
Number one Taylor Swift podcast.
Unless it's just it's about Jonathan Swift. Yes.
Again, with the references, I don't understand.
You don't know who Jonathan Swift is?
No, I feel like I should know that one, but I don't.
Okay. Jonathan Swift, born in 1667, so I don't know why you wouldn't know who Jonathan Swift is.
Yep.
He's an Anglo-Irish satirist. He's remembered for such works as A Tale of a Tub, An Argument Against Abolishing Christianity, and Gulliver's Travels.
Yep, you've completely lost me this morning.
You don't know what Gulliver's Travels is?
No, have you read Gulliver's Travels?
No, I've not read Gulliver's Travels. It was written in the 1700s.
Then why would I know about it?
I don't know. Anyway, I want to take a quick moment from all of this scintillating PlayStation talk and thank our PSVG Patreon producers, Coach Hulk, Edwin Callow, Devin Tyus, Kevin Austin, Chris M., Kyle Hyman, Bonesaw, Josh Borboni, Barry Cathcart, and Paul Calicote. Thank you for all of your support. And if anyone listening is interested in the PSVG Patreon, visit patreon.com/PSVG. This is a new month. It's May 1st, the day that this releases. Every month we do a PSVG Patreon giveaway. You can find out more on our Patreon and find out more on our Discord and go from there. What have you been playing the past week, Justin?
I've still playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm playing that nightly at this point and really enjoying it. I continue to really like that game. I think it was just one of those things where I took a break from the Ubisoft style of game, and now I'm kind of ready for it, where I'm just kind of checking off every single mission I can, and I really like the story so far. I always liked the Assassin's stories, and the first 3 games,
Mhm.
and we both talked about that. And this doesn't really seem to have the Assassins stuff in it yet. So I'm kind of curious when that will come in. I did just receive my first hood that happens to be white and red. So
Mm.
um,
I think Odyssey takes place before the Assassins started.
well,
Where Origins tells the story of the beginning of the Assassins.
oh, well,
I think
when did
Odyssey is
Origins?
before.
Okay, maybe that's what's going on.
Uh,
So not
but
really sure.
I've not played either game, so I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
the source of info there, but
I'm sure I will find out one way. I would be surprised if they just completely got rid of it, that
mhm.
part of the game. But and I haven't really read anything online because I didn't really want to spoil myself. Because so far I am enjoying the journey of Cassandra.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm still playing. When I'm not playing Apex, I'm playing MLB The Show. I have dipped into the Diamond Dynasty mode a little bit, which is the card trading mode where you open packs of cards and try and build the best team you possibly can build. There's a lot there. It's kind of the same trend with basically any modern sports game where you can play, in MLB The Show, you can play this Diamond Dynasty mode, and you could put hundreds of hours into that. You could play Road to the Show mode, building up your own personal character and put hundreds of hours into that. Or you could play franchise mode and build up your franchise and put hundreds of hours into that if you have enough time. And that's kind of like 3 separate tentpole games. It's just it's hard to be focused, but the game is great. And I guess I don't need to talk too much more about it, but if you are a baseball fan and have been on the fence about getting it this year, it's really good. So, other than that, usually we talk about Apex Legends at the end. I'm going to bring it up here because titled this episode "Couch Co-op" because over the last weekend here, we visited some friends, and it's like friends of my oldest daughter, and it's her friend, but then the parents are friends with us too, and they moved away a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So and the dad and I we play. He's the guy I play games with online, and so we've been playing Apex Legends the past few months, and I actually took my PlayStation up there, which is something I haven't done in a very long time. Traveled with a game console other than the Switch. So I took the PlayStation up there and we played Apex Legends couch co-op style.
Okay. Yeah.
On 2 PlayStations next side by side, which was a fun experience because then you can see each other's screens and kind of that really there are times where that really helps in Apex.
Yeah, you could probably immediately see if they're getting shot at or anything like that too.
Yeah.
Just like that visual reference. Very cool. Yeah, that's something I haven't done in a very long time. Definitely probably over 10 years or so.
Yeah.
I know we used to have the Halo nights, and I'd bring my console everywhere and my 360.
Mhm.
And then we did one, I don't remember when it was. We did it once, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago or something. Maybe it was a little longer than that, but very cool that, and it's cool that you did it with a game that's not supposed to be couch co-op,
Yeah.
Actually just brought a second PS4.
Right. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We played it basically when the kids were in bed and the wives were chatting. We played Apex, and we got, I think one night we had 3 second place finishes in a row. I haven't won a game with somebody I know yet. Which I don't know if there's something to that or what, but I'd like to win a game. Like all of my friends, we've all won games separately, but we haven't won together yet. So I've also gotten up on the battle pass a little bit more. I mean, I think I'm almost level 17 now.
Okay.
So that's good. So anyway, I had a good weekend playing Apex Legends couch co-op and did see the Avengers movie. So had a good weekend. I mean,
that's good. I also did see Avengers last week.
Mhm.
Really enjoyed it, and had one of those weekends where we just kind of got a few big tasks done around the house, but didn't get a lot done. Just a few things here and there, but
Yeah.
really really preparing for that baby. So,
Oh yeah.
yep, still working on all that work.
Okay. Is the nursery all ready?
The
Painted?
nursery is pretty much all complete. We're getting like a rocking chair,
Okay.
kind of thing, and so we have to order that and get that in. But crib's all put together. That's all done. We got clothes. A lot of friends and family have been helping us out with diapers and all that. So,
Pro tip for baby time. You know those big, it's like exercise balls,
yes.
the huge things. So with each of our babies, when we have three of them, they're not babies anymore. We had these big yoga balls, and I would actually, when they were real little, that was one way that I could get them to settle down. Just kind
Just
of
bouncing around on that.
hold on that, hold them, and then kind of bounce gently on the yoga ball, and it worked pretty well.
I do believe that is on our list of things to go out and buy before this baby is here. So
I think it also
that's good to hear.
helps while pregnant.
Yeah, I think that's what I've been doing the baby classes, and those are always fun, and that was one of the suggestions. So we have to go out and get that. But it's about a month and a half out, and getting excited.
Cool. So earlier when you were talking, you said the phrase "did it." When we were going up to Cleveland this past weekend, we always listen to this radio station. It's not a PBS station, but I think it's a public broadcasting channel of some sort that plays like music from the 40s and 50s, like old school big band and jazz and swing and just kind of old school radio stuff. So this past weekend they were celebrating Duke Ellington and Ella Fitzgerald's birthdays. And Ella Fitzgerald has a song called Let's Do It. And it's like the birds and the bees do it, the whatever and the whatever do it. And then Let's Do It, Let's Fall in Love.
Okay,
is the song. So that was on. And then we get to our destination, get out of the car, and the 9-year-old is singing the chorus of
or whatever. Yeah.
Like, all right, well, we figured that listening to the 1940s radio station would be safer than listening to the modern radio station that had Bruno Mars, Your Sex Takes Me to Paradise. But apparently not.
No, you can't escape it.
Cannot escape. All right. Moving on from that. We are becoming the number one Taylor Swift, the number one Ella Fitzgerald, and the number one Gulliver's Travels, Jonathan Swift podcast. Could you imagine if there was a Swift cast that was all about Jonathan Swift? I feel like that would be a short podcast.
We're on our way. We're about 50% there. So
he died like 300 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, the drop this week. I think in what seems to be, and it makes sense, kind of a trend, there's a huge release week one week, and then a less huge release week the next week.
Yeah.
So there's a game called Bird Game, where it looks like you're a bird. A game called Black Paradox, which I'm not going to touch. Fast-paced roguelite. Yeah.
Mm.
A game called Bomb Chicken, which I feel like that might be out on Switch already. I don't know. Indie game where you're chicken and you lay bombs. Box VR, so you can go boxing. It's basically, did you ever play Wii Boxing?
I did not.
Well, Wii Boxing was fun. Crash Bots, The End is Nigh. And then Fade to Silence was the PS Blog's like cover for this article. Fade to Silence takes players into a frozen post-apocalyptic world where defying nature's threats and enemies is key. A compelling mix of a puzzling story, a constant strife for resources, balancing short-term needs versus your long-term goals, and a tense, atmospheric mood makes this game a unique survival adventure. It's a long sentence, and I don't know what that's about. But there's a guy with a sword looking up at a huge monster with a glowing red eye thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a pretty standard third-person action RPG.
Yeah.
But kind of set in a snowy world. Actually looks pretty decent for kind of just being hidden in the drop.
Yeah.
And it's coming to retail, so it must be have some sort of decent budget. You said at Campfire, so this is definitely a Souls-like game. So,
okay.
Yeah, we'll yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's about it. The bottom one, there's a game called Valhalla, VA-11 Hall-A Cyberpunk Bartender Action that I think came out on Switch recently and looks kind of. It's like you're a bartender at Valhalla and affectionately nicknamed Valhalla. Okay. Although it is just a small bar in downtown Glitch City, it attracts the most fascinating people this side of dystopia. Keep your clients lubricated, and you will be made privy to the most interesting stories. So I think it's a, kind of like an old school adventure game, pixelated. I don't know. Honestly, that's the most interesting game on here for me this week. So
Yeah, I'm sure there's some hidden gems in there, but I did look at Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark. The art didn't really look great, but it's tactical RPG, and there's not a turn-based tactical RPG. And you don't see a lot of those, so I kind of take a look at that and looks like it might be pretty good.
Speaking of art not looking that great, everybody should go on the blog and look at the art for Tower of Dragon Asia.
Oh yeah, that's straight out of clip art for sure.
Yeah, that's
great.
That's pretty rough. You can play as 5 unique dragons. So anyway, it's a pretty light week because last week was a huge week with Mortal Kombat 11 and of course the exclusive Days Gone. As we transition into our news, you hear anything exciting about Days Gone, Justin?
Well, so the reviews are out. It's out, and reviews were so. I think you predicted it would be a 7.
Yep,
and that's roughly where the reviews are at right now. Some people are ranking it a little bit higher. Some people are ranking it a little bit lower. Overall sentiment seems that it's a good game. It's just not the best game, which is what we've kind of come to expect from Sony exclusives.
Sony exclusives are usually the best game. Spider-Man.
No, that's what I'm saying.
God of War. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that this maybe doesn't fall into that category of God of War and Spider-Man. Right. But it's still a fine game. It's almost like a Ubisoft game or something where it's not the best game out there, but it's still good. Like you should still. So I feel like it's getting a little bit. And put it on the scale next to these other games, and they're trying to compare it to stuff like that. And it's like, well, not everything can be a home run. Every studio is a little bit different. Every development's a little bit different. But good news for Sony Bend, I guess, is that early word out of sales, particularly in the UK, is that it's beating out Mortal Kombat 11, which Mortal Kombat 11 is on 3 different systems. It's on Switch, PS4, and Xbox, and PC. So actually 4.
But
granted,
PC wouldn't show up as physical
good
sales.
point.
Yeah.
So, but at least retail seems to be that Days Gone is going to do just all right.
Yep.
And hopefully that means Sony Bend can kind of stay around because Sony does tend to close out studios that aren't performing. Right. So, hopefully that's not the case this time around. It looks like it might be all right.
Yeah, that's exciting. I don't know, UK in terms of game market, I believe is smaller than the United States.
Yeah, we'll have to see how kind of they perform here since we have the biggest gaming market.
But yeah, that's exciting. Days Gone. It's a PlayStation exclusive. PlayStation has the most consoles, so it makes sense that it would do well. But still, to beat out, Mortal Kombat's a long time franchise, and so it's good to see for Sony Bend. I'm really interested in diving into Days Gone. I just didn't feel like spending $60 on a game right now. So I'm not sure when I'll get to that. Maybe sometime this summer. Speaking of summer, they came out last week and said in the summer, Days Gone will drop free DLC, I think in June, where they'll add a harder survival mode and also some weekly challenges like horde mode kind of things where you can compete for the best score against other people. So I think that's a little bit of something, especially the survival mode for some more hardcore gamers that that want to challenge themselves more, and it will come with trophies for all of those. So they're going to support this game at least here for a couple months, and maybe longer if this weekly challenge thing takes off. So cool. Next, wanted to bring up there is a sale right now, the Golden Week sale. Golden Week over in Japan. So this lasts through May 7th, and there are, according to the PlayStation Store, 386 items for sale, including games. Oh no, that's just PS4. So 595, including PS4, PS3, PSP, and Vita. But a lot of PS4. There's some games, some add-ons, bundles, things like that.
Yeah. There's a lot, and it's mostly it is mostly Japanese developed games.
Yep.
If you look through the list, but there's a lot of good games on that list.
Oh, yeah.
Resident Evil 2, as far as like a newer release is on there.
Yep.
And a few other pretty good ones. A lot of collections.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is $40.
Yep.
The Kingdom Hearts All-in-One package is $87, which didn't seem like that big of a that good of a price to me. But Nier Automata, $30.
Yep.
So there are a ton of games. Basically, I don't want to say any Japanese developed game, but
a good amount of them,
yeah,
for sure. And then I'm actually gonna boot up my PS Vita and actually purchase Final Fantasy Tactics.
Okay,
that's on there. So cool to see that they're still kind of supporting the PS Vita. I mean, they could just not apply the sale to Vita games and just completely forget about it. So there's quite a few Vita games on sale, especially PlayStation 1 classics, which is one of the reasons I love my Vita.
Right. Yeah. So it's a good sale. There's also a PlayStation Plus sale, PS Plus specials that are probably, my guess is, will be over. I don't know when those sales end. Okay, they're over by the time you're hearing this. But over the past week, there were also PS Plus sales that included games like Madden and NBA 2K and A Way Out. So like in Assassin's Creed Origins. So over the past week, like, I don't know, hundreds of really good games have been for sale.
Yeah.
Which makes me just want to not. So like Days Gone being released now makes me just want to wait a year.
It's really hard. I feel like spring is usually that time for me where I can get a couple older games, for 30, half off or more.
Yeah.
And get a little more bang for my buck. And then usually I get my brand new games in fall.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. That's part of the reason why I haven't really bought a ton of new things this spring, is trying to stretch my, if I have a gaming budget of $120 for the year, I can buy 2 new games, or I can buy 3 or 4 old games.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have been thinking about diving back into Uncharted 4. Just because I listened to the Uncharted theme recently. It just came up in a shuffle. And the Uncharted theme is one of my favorite themes, and I love the Uncharted games. So I've been thinking about diving back into Uncharted for while I'm feeling an itch to play a story-based game. In between Apex Legends and MLB The Show. It's not, it's kind of making up. It's all great gameplay, but in the mood for like a story-based action game. So anyway, moving on to another news item. This past week was the NFL draft, and during the draft, or around the draft, they revealed Madden 20, the cover athlete, which is he's the quarterback from Kansas City. I'm seeing his picture right here, but I cannot even think of what his name is. So I don't know. He's number 15 on Kansas City. He's very good. Even though Kansas City kind of seems to be falling apart with, they had the running back last year who got in trouble for punching his girlfriend, and then he was released, or he lied about it, and then he was released. And then now, of course, the Browns signed him. And then recently, one of their wide receivers, Tyreek Hill, got in trouble for like threatening. There was a conversation with his girlfriend or fiance or something. They have a kid, and he was accused of hitting the kid. I don't know. It's just
a mess.
Yeah, it's a mess. And that's the kind of stuff that makes it hard to root for, hard to watch NFL games. Not that every NFL player is whatever, but you see the same thing. I work in education. You see the same, you hear about something that happens in another place and people start to think, oh, that's what happens at every school.
Yeah.
So anyway, that is a wayside tangent.
That's a dark path to go down.
Sorry about that. They revealed Madden 20. Patrick Mahomes is his name. There we go. Got it. They revealed Madden 20 and talked about a few new features. Number one, Face of the Franchise QB1 Career Campaign. So the new, usually in Madden, you've been able to create your own player and take that player through a career, and you could do any position. So I'm not sure if they're still going to do that, but the main focus for career mode is creating a quarterback, and you select from a series of NCAA schools to compete in the college football playoff. I saw a list somewhere, but it's there are no Big Ten schools in this list, which kind of disappointed me. There are no colleges from the Midwest or the Northeast. They're all like SEC and then West Coast teams, or like Texas, Oklahoma, Oregon. I know Florida was on there, Alabama. The great programs, but just none from. Find it funny that they didn't have an Ohio State, Michigan, Indiana. Well, Indiana,
which are some of the biggest,
Notre
Division
Dame,
I, names around. So,
but that may not be, EA's fault or Madden's fault. That might be that Ohio State's license is so expensive, or Ohio State doesn't want to be a part of it, or the Big Ten doesn't want to be a part of it. I don't know that stuff. So you start off in the college football playoff, go to the NFL scouting combine and get drafted, and then play out your career. So that's supposed to be a little, I don't know. Hopefully they beefed up the presentation there. Talk about superstar X factors, where the superstars, the best players, are supposed to have, special traits so that they stand out even more from the regular decent players. Scenario engine. It says every franchise will feel more alive with evolving storylines happening alongside every week of your NFL career. Every decision you make will impact what happens next as you compete for the ultimate NFL achievement, a Super Bowl victory. So that, I guess, is going to create storylines throughout the year. It'll be, they haven't shown any of this stuff in motion yet. The last two things they talk about are ultimate team missions and ultimate challenges that are just some new ways to build up the card collecting mode. So there's a lot of promising things, and the people who like Madden are going to, I'm sure, like Madden again this year. It's one of those things where right now it's a lot of the back of the box blurbs are out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, it says scenario engine, so there's going to be storylines throughout the year. But what if the storylines are lame, or if the storylines are only told via social media posts or text messages or something like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that is Madden. It's coming. Oh, it's also coming earlier. It's coming like April. Jeez.
Wow.
August. It's coming August 2nd, which is a good 3 weeks earlier than it used to come out.
And that's probably pretty smart. It gets it a lot farther away from all of the other huge fall releases.
Yeah. It gets it away from the other fall releases, but it's also so far. I mean, that's before the preseason even starts in the NFL.
Yeah.
Where you look at MLB The Show, and it comes out during opening week of MLB season. And I feel like the show should come out a little bit sooner than it does. Just because people start getting excited for baseball sooner. But
yeah.
Anyway, it's football. I'm sure Madden will do quite well again. Now on to Apex Legends Corner. We talked about Apex a little bit earlier. I assume you're still playing.
I am. I've definitely slowed down, though.
Okay.
I'm not playing every night like I was for a while. And so just a night, once or twice this week, probably in the last week.
Yeah.
Still continues to be fun.
Yeah, and that's that's it. Just the gameplay loop is fun. I know there was the story I think we talked about it last week, where it was slowing down a little bit. Not as many people are streaming it on Twitch, and people are becoming maybe a little bit disengaged because of the pace of updates. So
Yeah, it doesn't help that Fortnite just came out with a huge update that's all centered around Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
So which of course they're able to get that huge license and do something crazy like that.
Yeah.
But if it would be nice if Apex could come back with their own event. It doesn't have to be, obviously not Avengers, but just anything.
Yeah.
But they did write a blog post, so that's
yeah. So they came out with a blog post from the Apex team from Respawn and talked about that they've been excited about the response that it's gotten, and that it's kind of exploded in popularity a little more than they were initially expecting, which isn't necessarily an excuse, but that does mean if you have a product that you're expecting 2 million people to play and 50 million people play it, bugs are going to stand out a little more. And so I think they've had to focus more on just improving performance more than adding content. So the blog post went into a bunch of different topics. They talked about slow server performance at the beginning of a match, and they're trying to increase, trying to help that. I especially noticed that this past weekend, actually, where we had some really dodgy performance. They have audio issues that they're addressing. Cheaters they've been doing a lot of work with, which I don't feel like we get a ton of.
I haven't noticed a ton. I think it's a way bigger issue on PC.
Yeah. Hit registration issues. So trying to make sure that when you shoot somebody, it actually gives you credit for the shot. And they also shared a little bit about their roadmap, which is the more exciting part for this update. Season launches. The beginning of each new season will start with a new battle pass, a new legend, and something new for the meta. And then they hope to have thoughtful updates throughout the season, rather than just updating. I guess I don't know what non-thoughtful updates would be. I don't know if that's a shot at Fortnite or not. It seems like Fortnite gets pretty regular good updates. So
yeah, I mean, I would say that Apex does a good job of pretty good updates. It's just it might take 2 or 3 weeks between each update.
Yep.
I mean, but when they're like the recent update for Gibraltar and Caustic, like moving them all, I mean, that's a pretty big update. I mean, it completely changes that character.
Yeah.
That kind of just came out of nowhere. I would consider that to be thoughtful.
Oh yeah, for sure. They also said that they will start talking more about what's coming up sooner rather than having surprise drops all the time. At EA Play in June, which is just over a month away, they'll give the first details on Season 2, which should launch maybe late June. They said they've seen the feedback on Season 1 and look forward to showing the improvements they've been making. For Season 2, we can expect a battle pass, the new legend, a debut of a new weapon, and you didn't expect Kings Canyon to stay the same forever, did you? That's pretty exciting. I mean, I like Kings Canyon, but we've been playing the same map now for 3 months. Be interesting to see what changes. I don't know enough about. I haven't played Fortnite enough, but I know that the map changes frequently there. Does the map change on Call of Duty Blackout?
It has been slowly changing. Yeah, they added a boat at one point, then they added a whole new like Old West town. That was actually a huge addition.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they have. No, then it is fun because those turn into like new drop spots.
Yep.
And everyone wants to drop there all of a sudden. So yeah, I do enjoy that aspect quite a bit. It also gives me a reason to come back.
Yeah.
And I have for every edition they've done like that for Call of Duty.
Cool. They in the Apex map they have some areas that are like there's the tall mountains and there's space kind of behind them. So there's areas where they can add wholly new zones, and then they could obviously change parts of current zones. They also made the point that, of course, Respawn is developing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, but that's a separate development team. There are 2 separate teams working on Apex and Star Wars. But they did note that future Titanfall games are being pushed out due to supporting Apex Legends.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's that's good to hear that Apex shouldn't be impacted by Star Wars, and Star Wars shouldn't be impacted by Apex. I mean, that's
Goes
it's
both
not
ways.
yeah. So that's good. I do. You mentioned it'd be great to see Apex have some sort of a crossover event or something, but it'd be kind of neat to see as you get closer to the Star Wars launch if they had some sort of a Star Wars crossover.
Yeah, even if it was like an Easter egg or something like that,
Yeah.
or they have a character who kind of looks like another character or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think I want them to, because Apex Legends and the Titanfall universe kind of do have their own lore.
Oh yeah.
I don't expect them just to integrate, but it would be cool if who's to say that a Titanfall world or universe doesn't have lightsabers or something like that.
Right.
Right. Maybe they have a new character that, every character when you're running without a weapon, they have like their own little animation or whatever.
Yep.
Maybe one of them runs around with a lightsaber when he's not holding a gun, or something fun like that.
Speaking of that running animation, my friend plays as Wraith all the time.
Yeah.
So when you're running without a weapon as Wraith and you're looking at her from the third person view, she runs with her arms behind her back.
Yes.
Almost like a little kid.
Yeah.
But she doesn't look quite as goofy. But she runs with her arms behind her back. But when you are first person as Wraith and running without a weapon, you see the hands moving in front of you like you were like a normal person running, I guess. So it is kind of funny when we had the screen side by side, watching my screen and seeing Wraith running with her hands behind her back, and then watching his screen and seeing her hands pumping in front of him. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's funny.
I mean, I suppose that's almost necessary. I feel like in a first person game, if you don't have, I know the hands or the gun helps to be like a visual reference point. So
it can make you feel uncomfortable, or it looks odd. So
it makes sense. It's just funny seeing it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In practice. So
another thing I wanted to point out about this blog post, that they specifically called out that they're not going to crunch. They mentioned that specifically and say that they don't want to burn out or anything like that. And I know a lot of news outlets really grabbed onto that because they're one of the few studios that's kind of coming out and saying we're not going to crunch. We're just not going to do it. We're going to have a healthy development cycle. So that's cool to see.
Yeah, that did feel a little bit like a shot at Fortnite based on the Polygon article came out last week or so about Fortnite. But one other thing I want to bring up before we sign off. Last week we talked about the PlayStation 5 coming up. They revealed that in Wired, and that's an exciting time. At the same time, we have Google Stadia. At the same time as people are talking about PlayStation 5 and Xbox Scarlet or whatever the next box is going to be called, we have this Google Stadia platform that is coming out, and it should be released later this year, where the only thing you need to play Google Stadia is really you should get a Google controller, and you need a web browser or a Chrome stick. Hopefully you can play it on, if you have a Roku stick or Amazon Fire Stick, you can play it on your iPad, your iPhone, your Google Pixel, your Chrome browser. You can kind of play it anywhere as long as you have a fast enough internet speed. And there's no upfront console cost. We don't know what the games will cost or if there's going to be a subscription model or anything about that yet. But without knowing particulars about costs of things like that, what are you thinking about next gen, and does the prospect of the Google Stadia change your excitement level on next gen consoles?
Not really. I think I'm maybe a little bit concerned about the overall future of gaming, because I do think that maybe this is a look at the future. I certainly don't think it's here yet. I'll be really curious how it performs, especially we actually just got news about PlayStation Now, kind of like subscriber numbers. Last week. I think they're at 700,000 subscribers for PlayStation Now right now.
Yeah,
a little over that.
Yeah.
So which is a lot, but it's very little compared to the overall gaming community.
Right, but so it's 700,000 PlayStation Now subscribers compared to 98 million PlayStation 4s being out there.
Yeah.
Would say though, for PlayStation Now, the newest games that are on there currently are at least more than a year old.
Yeah, it is definitely a different service.
Where I think Google Stadia, the expectation is it's going to have the biggest games as they release.
Yeah, I mean, they've said as much. They've announced a few games that were going to be day and day. Is coming service. So I'm not. I guess I'm interested just in the tech side of it. Like, I kind of want to see it perform and see how well it does. I've seen PlayStation Now. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I haven't played anything competitively on it, so I don't know how to handle that, and I don't know if it would really matter. But the same reason I chose a PlayStation over an Xbox, and the same reason I'll choose PlayStation over a Google Stadia service, is that it's still all about the games.
Yep.
And they don't. Google Stadia does not have Naughty Dog. They don't have a Spider-Man exclusive. All these other big exclusives for. Even I play Call of Duty every year, and the fact that Sony went out and got that deal with Activision to be the premier place to play Call of Duty,
right.
That's, for someone who plays Call of Duty, that is important to me. So I think it's still just about the games, and I think it gets lost in the conversation here and there, because at the end of the day, that's just what it's all about.
Right.
It's. I hope that we don't go to a fully digital streaming future. Because I think we're really far away from that being as good as owning your own system.
Right.
And I like owning my own system. I like, if my internet goes out, my game doesn't just shut off.
Right.
I can continue playing. And that's kind of scary to think about, that you're now all of a sudden your internet provider is completely controlling one of my biggest hobbies.
Right.
And I don't like that idea at all.
Right. Yeah, that is, as a country, we're pretty far away from really being able to just have an all streaming service. Because here, I live 30 minutes east of Columbus, and I could get 100 megabyte internet at this point, but that just came here in the last 6 months. And it's prohibitively expensive for me, at least. And I live close to a pretty major city.
Yeah.
Let alone if you lived somewhere else. On the other hand, however many, I forget what the percentage is, but the people who live like on the coasts, there's way more percentage of people who live on the coast where they have faster internet than people who live in, the Midwest and other places. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I do. The ability to play all of the brand new games except for Sony first person, Nintendo first person and first party, and Xbox first party, the ability to play basically every major game on Stadia without having to buy another dedicated box is pretty appealing. But again, which is great that there's not going to be a barrier to entry, I guess. I'll be able to plug my PS4 controller into my laptop and try out Google Stadia without committing to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just, after last week's PS5 reveal, did want to bring that up. So
yeah, I'm certainly more excited for PS5.
Okay.
Like hearing all the hardware details and stuff like that actually excites me as someone who plays video games, and as someone who likes the techie side of the stuff, the insides of it. So
yep, cool. All right, I think that'll do us. You can find us on Twitter at PSXP Podcast. You can find us on Discord. Visit psvg.blog to find the link to the Discord if you're not on there for some reason. And listen, of course, to all of the Play Some Video Games other podcasts, from the Nintendo Shack to the Xbox podcast, whatever it's called. I should know what that's called. Crap. Xbox
Empire.
Yeah. Sorry about that. The Xbox Empire, Nintendo Shack, PSVG Prime, PSVG OT when it comes around. We have the Google Stadia Cast. We have Arcadia Academia, which looks into old franchises. It's a whole network, which is pretty cool. And it is supported on Patreon. Once again, patreon.com/PSVG. Have anything to add, Justin, as we sign off?
I don't think so.
Okay. Are you still closet __ gamer?
I am, unfortunately. Yep.
Okay.
No one has approached me with a better suggestion yet.
Okay. Cool. All right. We're good. Have a great week. Never stop gaming.
And though we may pledge fanboy allegiances to different flags, deep down inside we all serve one master, one king. And his name is gaming. Forever may he reign!
This has been a production of the Play Some Video Games Podcast Network.